Hi, this is John from Inflation Technology. I'd like to take the opportunity to show you how to run Recall Check and Recall Shield. These parts of Tire Pressure Cloud are the new and really fundamental parts of the Tire Pressure Cloud program that are designed to help you protect your business from litigation and to give your customer peace of mind about the tires that they're running on their vehicle. So the recall check basically has a slot for a DOT code for each of the tires on the vehicle, and there are 6 tire positions that you can use. Those 6 tire positions would correspond to the front pair and up to 4 tires on the rear for a dual type vehicle, and then the spare. The spare is often the most forgotten tire on the vehicle. And what Recall Check is going to do once we've entered these DOT codes is that it's going to go out and it's going to tell us whether there are any recalls on those tires. The other thing it's going to do based on the DOT codes, it's going to compute the age of the tire. It's going to flag any tires that are over 6 years old. This is something that's extremely important because you can be criticized or accused in a litigation matter for having released a vehicle with a recalled tire on it, or a tire that's over 6 years old. If you find those conditions, you need to inform the customer, and this is a very quick and easy way to do that. Like all the apps in Tire Pressure Cloud, we have the ability to erase the screen, reset, and start over. We have the ability to show the last set of information that was entered, and we have the ability to query the data that's been stored in the cloud based on the repair order or the invoice number. So Recall Check and Recall Shield are going to ask for a repair order because that's how we track these sorts of things. Important information to note, Recall Check is a subscription-based system. So once you have a subscription, you can run Recall Check over and over and over again with no additional cost. Okay, so for example, if you wanted to check the tires on an 18-wheeler, you'd need have 6. You'd have to do three recall checks to cover all the tires on the vehicle. Okay, but it's an extremely flexible and powerful type system. So what I'd like to do is basically start out by entering a couple of DOT codes, and let's just work with a truck that has dual rear axle and no spare. Okay, those are like a box truck or something like that. Now, you don't have to capitalize or anything like that here. Recall Check knows what a DOT code looks like. And remember that DOT codes that I'm going to enter in here can be picked up, can be moved directly to the custom fitment app at some point in time. So if you're doing a plus size or something like that, you would put all the information in Recall Check and then just copy it over to the custom fitment app. So this vehicle's got a T7XEJNH 4911, and you see that it copied these down, the first 4, because 4 tires are pretty common on vehicles. All right. Turns out in this case the front 2 tires are these. The rear tires, the left rear is a PJ1L C11V 33712, and that's also on the inside left. The right rear outboard is a JEJK ECL 4610, and on the inboard we find 5K RQ LD. Now let's go back to that Q for a minute. When I enter Q, it says Q is not a typical DOT character. Did you mean to input 0? We do this because it's possible to make an error and put an O or a Q, or read an O or a Q instead of 0. O's aren't allowed, for example, because they look so much like a 0. Okay, in this case it definitely is a Q. You have to live with it, so we accept it and move on. The construction code is LD 1411. Okay, and I need to enter some form of invoice number. It can be anything, at least one character, but generally you'd put whatever invoice you're working against. Choose 1, 2, 3, and then whatever notes you want to put on here. And then when you've finished that, you would check for recalls. Okay, now what we have is we get for every kind of DOT code we have, we're going to get where the company that manufactured it, where it was manufactured, and how old it is. So the front two tires are these are 4.2 years old, and they're made by Hankook. Right side rear tires are made by Goodyear. I'm sorry, these are the left side rear tires, and they're 3.4 years old. They're made by Goodyear. And we have on the inside right a tire that's real easy to miss. We've got a recalled tire. And so we have this recall, and it says this tire at 4.9 years old is recalled. So definitely I'd want to have my customer, I'd want to notify my customer that he has a recalled tire on it and we'd like to replace it for him. But to make absolutely certain that it is a recalled tire, this will take you directly to, clicking that link will take you directly to the recall on NHTSA's website. Okay? Whatever the recall is, it takes you straight there. And so you can look and read the detail on the summary and find it, whether this tire actually is covered by this recall or not. There is some uncertainty associated with that. You'll notice the little symbol here in case you happen to be colorblind. That's something that indicates there's a flag. And then the outboard right side tire is 5 years old, and there are no recalls. Okay. Now at this point in time, we can print this, and it says, we've detected a potential match with a NHTSA recall, and this has your information, your logo, when the check was done, the invoice number. It has all the all the information for all the tires, and you could give this to your customer and say, look, you got this tire that's recalled. We'd be happy to replace it for you, and so on. There is a QR code on that logo or on that printout that tracks back to our cloud data and all the information that you put in, the date and the time to reproduce this report. Okay, and it has a unique code that links back to the cloud data. So everything you do here is stored in our cloud. So if we actually went in and replaced this tire, let's go back and look at this tire, and let's say we got picked up another one of these Hankook tires, except of course it's a new one, and we went and did the check for recalls again. Now we have all green. All these tires are checked for green. We can save and print. Again, we'll get a new QR code, a new sequence number. And so this is this is where we want to be. We want to have the vehicle have all green flags on it. Now, let's suppose that one of these tires, and it's typically going to be a spare, but let's just suppose this vehicle had a spare and it happened to be an old spare. Okay, and we were to come down here and check for recalls. Now what we get is a notification that our particular tire is older than 6 years old. In fact, it's 8.4 years old. And so you would want to recommend to the customer that they replace this tire because of age. There are no recalls on it. It probably isn't worn out, but if they ever put it on the ground, they could have some problems with it. So let's go back and take this one out to the point where we're back to green again. Alright, so now we have all the tires on the vehicle showing green, and we can activate Recall Shield. So at this point in time, everything we've been doing is under our subscription. But now we say to the customer, look, we can protect you going forward. We can notify you if any of these tires becomes recalled. And the way we do that is through Recall Shield. Now, Recall Shield is a pay per application. So if I activate Recall Shield, you see the DOT code numbers are brought forward. Alright, and I can offer the customer a 5-year shield or a 10-year shield. Now the 5-year shield is a little cheaper. So for 5 years, $6.99. For 10 years, it's $9.99. But basically, we'll provide a shield so that anytime NHTSA posts a recall on one of these tires, the customer will get an email. So in order to do that, we have to have an email. So we put an email in for them, and then we pay, and it's going to charge the credit card. And then it says Recall Shield is active, and all the tires that are covered under Recall Shield are shown. And if we save and print, now we get another printout that we can give to the customer or email to the customer. Typically it'll be emailed to the customer here. Now I can update emails by clicking this button here, and I can put in other emails. This first email cannot be changed, and we did that for security purposes. If somebody else got this report, read this QR code on their smartphone, and it took them to our cloud data, and they changed the emails here, they couldn't change this one, so the customer would at least receive notification that that had been changed. So this shows when the shield starts, when the shield ends. It's a 10-year shield. This was your repair invoice, and it's active. So at this point in time, at the time the customer leaves your shop, all the tires have no recalls, they're not out of age, and they're covered by Recall Shield. Okay, these two products, Recall Check and Recall Shield, work together. Recall Check to protect your business, to keep you from out of a situation where you're liable for recalled tires or out of age tires leaving your shop without the customer's knowledge. And Recall Shield, allowing your customer the peace of mind of knowing that if one of those tires becomes recalled, regardless of the DOT registration system, they're going to be notified directly by our service and have the opportunity to get those tires pulled before they fail due to that recall reason, whatever it might be. So with that, that's the overview, the functional overview of Recall Check and Recall Shield, parts of Tire Pressure Cloud.